Hey guys, so I'm going to go through this week on Gold and NASDAQ. GBP JPY I'm still testing, so just going to sit that one out. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame just to kind of take a look to see what happened on gold this week. So gold is still technically bearish. It's in between this, just show you, lower high, lower low, right? And then now let's just find Monday. Let's just backtrack to Monday. So let's go to Monday. So Monday, obviously, if price is bearish, I'm looking for sells. But prior to New York session, price already broke this previous H1 lower high. So it flipped temporarily bullish. So there's nothing I could do. So Monday there was no trade, right? The whole entire week is bearish on the 4-hour, so I'm not gonna go back to there. I'm just gonna kind of move along. So now the 1-hour is technically bullish because price is within this H1 higher high and H1 higher low, right? So what I need to do is see if it makes any sense at the CMP, if there's anything aligned with the 4-hour, meaning a shift of structure bearish. So we got to find that on the 30 or the 15. This day it was on the 15-minute. I remember seeing this. So this was the shift I was looking for prior to New York. This was the last higher low, but obviously on the 15-minute, not the 1-hour. So I marked this level here. Right, this is basically what I did. And then this was the QMR I found. So you have the high, low, higher high, lower low. Oops. I don't know why it does that. Sorry about that. Where'd we go? And then this was the entry, right? So that was basically Tuesday's trade. You go to the 30-minute. You can see it's the same level as that, and then you have it within this EG sell zone. So within the EG body, right? So just a QMR, closing price 7 o'clock respected, 7:30 respected level, 8 o'clock entry. Pretty simple day. So that was a good trade for Tuesday. Now let's reset, go back to the 1-hour. Let's go to Wednesday. So Wednesday, price is obviously bullish. It's in between this higher high and higher low, right? Prior to the New York session, what I noticed is that price put in a potential higher low, right? And then the 7 o'clock candle closed here at this level. So what this tells me is that price is making a transition because it's making a failed higher high, right? It put in a higher low, but it didn't make a higher high. So that's the first indication that a transition is taking place. And then you wait for the confirmation on the lower time frame, right? So I'll just show you. If you didn't catch it on the, I'll show you the 5-minute first because that's where it happened first. So this was that day. This was Wednesday. So you have a QMR, right, with closing price. So that was the first transition. Now, if you didn't catch that, then you just go back to the higher time frame because that happened up there. And then you'll notice that price created a QMR here, right? You have the high, low, higher high, lower low. Price came back, and eventually it went down. Not the best price action. Now, as far as this one goes, obviously you would have gotten taken out, but not if you would use the apex like I do. So to mark the apex, you want to use the 1-hour time frame. The highest time frame is a better time frame to use. So to show you what I'm talking about. So this was the apex on the 1-hour for the QMR, right? You go to the 30. That's that level there. 15. It's that level. So you can see price tapped it at 10:45. So this was a bit outside of session, but that's up to you if you want to wait. For certain things, I will wait, especially if if I didn't catch the move up here and I saw this QMR and price took me out here, right? It just stopped me out, and then this was my last resort order. I would wait and see, just kind of watch price action, see what's happening, and then wait for it to get tagged in and then go down. But if not, then it's okay. It's just mark it as a miss or a loss and then move on. So that was Wednesday. So let's go to Thursday now. So Thursday, this trade, I know you guys were probably wondering why I took it. So it wasn't the best trade I took, to be honest. It wasn't really a great trade, but I'm just going to show you why I took it. So we know price is bearish on the 4-hour. We know price has now in a pullback phase, right? Because I told you it was transitioning up here because it failed to make a higher high, right? When it fails to make a higher high, that means it's transitioning. So it's going to make a pullback, right? So price isn't making a pullback, right? So let's just say we're in the pullback phase and we're trending down because I'm always following the CMP, right? So this is what I saw prior to the New York session. So I said, okay, price is bearish. Let me see if there's anywhere I can sell from, right? So I marked this level here because this was the last lower high. And this was the last lower low technically because it broke this level of support here. You can see it just barely broke it, but it did break it. So that's why I marked it, because it was the last lower high. And I was expecting price to pull back there because there wasn't enough range. So that's why I was expecting it to go to the higher high. So then I'll show you what I did. So I marked that level basically, right? And that was this level here. So I thought to myself, okay, let me see, lower high, lower low. Sorry, lower high, lower high, lower low technically, because it still broke this, barely broke it, but it did break it. So expecting price to come back here and then to continue to go down. That's what I was expecting, right? So now I need to find a setup. I'm just not going to take that level, right? And then what I noticed is that on the 5-minute, this is where I found it. It was in the 5-minute. It was the exact same level as this M5 breakout. So that's why I took it. So this M5 breakout was the same level as the 1-hour fresh resistance. Just go back so you can see, right? That fresh resistance, if you go to the 5-minute, where'd it go? That was the breakout here, right? So these were one of my setups. This is that I shared to you guys, right? This is the breakout setup, right? And I saw when price, I waited for price to close. So once I saw this candle close, I set my pending order here. And then price came down, took me out at break even, and then went up. And then I gave it a second chance. I got taken out again. Yeah, this wasn't, I should have held the trade. Like, this is in hindsight now, but what I would have done, and I should have probably done, is that I should have refined it to the 1 minute because this was a 5-minute setup. But that's the reason why I took it, is because the 1-hour resistance was the previous lower high. So I was looking to sell at the previous lower high, so that's why. But going over this trade, what I wish I would have done is refine it, right? So I'll just show you what I'm talking about. So this was the M5 level, right? So if I could have gone back in time, I would have refined it to this level here. And this would have been the correct level to sell from. And then you can see, right? So, but now I know, so, moving forward, if I had the, I would have taken both levels. So these would have been both my levels I would have taken, right? But yeah, that's basically what ended up happening. So that's why I took that trade. I hope that makes sense. So now let's go to the 1 hour and check Friday. Friday, there was really nothing going on Friday. I'll just show you. Price is bearish on the 1 hour, right? You have the lower low, lower high, lower low, potential new lower high, and then transition, right? This is the transition that I'm talking about when price fails to make a lower low. So that's the first indication, right? That price is going to go up because it failed to make a lower low, a new lower low, right? So usually when that happens, there's a QMR within here on the lower time frame. So let's find it. Oops. Sorry, I want to delete this drawing. Right, and then that's when I noticed, okay, price created a QMR here. Yeah, the low, high, lower low, higher high, and then transition, and then price went up, right? So that's basically what ended up happening. And price came back to respect it again. And then obviously price ended up going up, right? But price really was coming for this level here. So these would have been the two levels to use, right? As I always mention to you guys, you go to the 1 minute, you can see. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. 1 minute, same level as this here. But I don't think price reached that yet. So sometimes if you refine it too much, price may not get there. You had this new QMR here, and this was the apex. And I think this is where price came back to retest it, yeah. Yeah, because price never tapped it here, right? So that was the QMR. Price came back and tapped it. I think at 9 or 9:30. Yeah, 9:30. And yeah, and that's basically what happened. It was basically a transition. So I hope that makes sense. Now let's go to NAS. We'll start on the 4 hour with NAS. We'll go to Monday. So this was Monday. Lower high, lower low. So price is bearish on Monday. So go to the 1 hour. Let's take a look and see what happened. And oh yeah, I trade NAS at 9. I starting at 9 o'clock. So when I saw this, I just skipped it. I was like, all right, never mind. I'm not going to trade that. That's just, yeah, it won't make any sense for me. So I skipped Monday. And Tuesday, let's see, it's within this. So I'm only looking for sells within this range here. So let's go to Tuesday. I think this one happened outside of session. Yeah. So what I saw was a break and retest. So I was waiting for price to come back to this level, but this happened at 11 o'clock, I think. Yeah. So there's no trade for me on Tuesday because this is outside session time. So nothing on Monday. Nothing on Monday. Nothing on Tuesday. Now we get on over to Wednesday, right? So now I'm just looking at price. Price is bullish on the 1 hour, by the way. It's within this giant bullish structure. So when it's within this giant bullish structure, you just focus on the CMP, basically, right? So I'm looking at the CMP here, and it needs to be bearish, right? So I go to the 30, and structure is bullish, technically. So I need to go to the 15. I need to find that transition. And then that's when I found this higher high and higher low. And as soon as I saw price had broken it, I looked for a setup. So what I immediately noticed is that this looked like a potential QMR. So I needed to go down to the lower time frame. I just marked the level on the apex, right? I go to the 5. And then this is the level I took. Obviously I got stopped out in one position, but it's okay. That's why you have two positions, the apex and the level, right? So high, low, higher high, lower low, and then price came back 9:30 and then went down. So that was Wednesday. So it was a great trade on Wednesday. Let's go to Thursday. So Thursday, prior to the New York session, what do I notice is that price has been trending down, right? 8 o'clock it stopped here. I'm obviously looking for sells, but I need some kind of a pullback with a setup. So what I noticed on the 30-minute, price was bearish within this structure, right? So I look for the 15, basically I'm looking for the sells. By the time it got to, let's see. Yeah, by the time it got to this area up here, price flipped bullish, to show you, because this was the last lower low. Oops, lower high. So then I would have needed a shift, a QMR on the 5 or the 1 here. This was already outside trading time though, but I never got a QMR and I never got a setup for sells. So it was a no trade day basically. Right, so that was no trade. Now I need to go to Friday. So Friday was a bit different. I noticed Friday prior to the New York price had put in a lower high, and now it was in a push phase. Price is in a push phase. We don't know how far it's going to go. We don't really care how far it's going to go. So it already put in the lower high, sorry. So what do I notice on the 1 hour time frame? I noticed that it had a drop base drop. Right, so then I go to the 30, go to the 15. I'm looking for a setup, basically, right? I'm looking for a setup. I don't see any setups, so I go to the 5. Now, what I noticed is that price had a QMR, right? Yeah, the high, low, higher high, lower low, and then price came here and then tapped and went down. So you could have entered at this level. I didn't because I don't trade until 9 o'clock, so I basically waited. I was just watching price on the 5 minute. Then what I noticed is that I had created this level here, and I said to myself, okay, this is a potential QMR, right? So this is on the 1 minute, 5 minute. So you go to 1 minute. Right, and then you had these two areas here. If you're refining, right? So obviously one position would have stopped me out. Second position I would have won. Why did I choose the second position? Because remember I told you, you take the next breakout level, you take the next level. So this was the next level after this level. That's why. And then that's basically what would have happened. Still respected the QMR. It just obviously went deeper, right? High, low, higher, high, lower, low, and then price came back and then went down, right? So I hope that makes sense. Just to show you visually on the 5 minute what that would have looked like. So if you saw that and then you refined it, if you waited for closing price at this level, you wouldn't have gotten taken out. You got a perfect entry, but you don't know in real time. If I would have just used this and I got stopped out, I give it a second chance. I just enter my pending order at the level again, right? So hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Thanks.